Do you think you're out of tune?
Yes.
Then why the fuck didn't you say so?
Whiplash is one of my favorite movies ever made. It follows the story of Andrew Neiman, a college jazz drummer who's obsessed with his craft. His teacher, Terrence Fletcher, teaches more like an abusive drill instructor than a typical college professor. Whiplash is considered by many people to be one of the best films of the modern era, and everyone's favorite scene of Whiplash is the finale. And in case this isn't obvious, spoilers. The entire film of Whiplash is a power struggle between Andrew Neiman and Terrence Fletcher, as well as a character study of the goals that these two characters share. Andrew Neiman worships drum god Buddy Rich and aspires to be a world-famous drummer. Fletcher, on the other hand, worships Joe Jonas, a jazz instructor who taught Charlie Parker. He repeatedly tells the story of how Joe Jonas threw a cymbal at Charlie Parker's head when he played poorly.
I told you that story about how Charlie Parker became Charlie Parker, right?
Yeah, Joe Jones threw a cymbal at his head.
Exactly. Parker's a young kid, pretty good on the sax. Gets up to play at a cutting session, and he fucks it up. And Jones nearly decapitates him for it. And he's laughed off stage. Cries himself to sleep that night, but the next morning, what does he do? He practices.
Because Fletcher wants to create a jazz legend, he's overly harsh and critical on all of his students in order to weed out the unworthy musicians.
Jesus fucking Christ! I didn't know they allowed retards into Schaefer. Am I to understand that you cannot read tempo? Can you even fucking read music? What is that?
Because Andrew Neiman is obsessed with becoming a jazz legend, he endures all the verbal abuse from Fletcher.
That you are a worthless, friendless, faggot-lipped little piece of shit whose mommy left daddy when she figured out he wasn't Eugene O'Neill, and who is now weeping and slobbering all over my drum set like a fucking 9-year-old girl. So for the final father-fucking time, say it louder! I'm upset!
As well as use it to become a better drummer. The power struggle comes into play throughout the film because Fletcher commands the best college jazz ensemble in the country, and many successful musicians graduated from Fletcher's class. So Neiman needs Fletcher's approval in order to be in, as well as play a significant role in this jazz ensemble. At the same time, he hates the fact that he's constantly getting put down by Fletcher.
Is that really the fastest you can play, you worthless, hymie fuck? No wonder Mommy ran out on you. Get off the fucking kid.
Neiman is the only student who shows that they're willing to stand up to Fletcher.
You lost the fucking part.
No, I didn't. Look, you can't fucking do this to me.
Can't?
Yeah.
When did you become a fucking expert on what I can or cannot do, you fucking weepy willow shit sack?
I earned that part.
You never earned anything.
No matter how much Neiman tries in almost the entire movie, Fletcher has the power over him. After Neiman is removed from Fletcher's ensemble, Neiman testifies that Fletcher was abusive, playing a hand in getting Fletcher fired. Fletcher and Neiman share a conversation in which Fletcher explains that he never taught a future Charlie Parker, and thus he feels like a failure.
The truth is, Andrew, I never really had a Charlie Parker. But I tried. And I will never apologize for how I tried.
Fletcher also reveals that he joined a new ensemble outside of the school and invites Andrew Neiman to play a show with them, to which Neiman accepts. And this is what sets the stage for a finale that let my jaw hit the floor for the entire 20 minutes. This finale at first seems like it's going to be a normal jazz performance. It seems like Neiman and Fletcher are finally working together and are both on the same side. This is until Fletcher declares war. Fletcher tells Neiman that he knows that it was Neiman that got Fletcher fired, which means that Fletcher is now trying to ruin Neiman's career by not providing him with the correct sheet music. Neiman improvises, but it's obvious that he has no idea what he's doing. So initially he gives up and is defeated. However, then he walks back on stage to the shock of Fletcher.
Now we're going to slow it down a little bit. I'm guessing most of you folks have heard of it.
now, for the first time in the entire film, Neiman is in charge and Fletcher is at his mercy. Neiman completely changes the direction of the performance, undercutting Fletcher's power in front of a large crowd filled with many powerful people in the industry. From this, we see Fletcher go through 3 distinct mindsets, all conveyed with just 2 lines of dialogue and J.K. Simmons' physical acting. Firstly, he tries to re-establish his power in the same way he's done throughout the whole movie, verbal abuse. Only this time it has no effect on Neiman. Neiman continues to perform a masterful improvised drum solo, holding on to the power that he has over Fletcher. Then Fletcher shows his second mindset. Once he has accepted that Neiman isn't letting go of control, he begs Neiman to stop.
Andrew, what are you doing, man?
I'll cue you.
For the first time in the whole movie, Fletcher refers to Neiman by his first name, acknowledging him as an equal. So in this new mindset, Fletcher does exactly what Neiman tells him to do and plays along. This is when we get to see Fletcher's third and final mindset of the scene. When one of Neiman's cymbals falls over, Fletcher readjusts it, showing that he's now on Neiman's side and ready for them to work together as equals. Fletcher then works with Neiman, making his drum solo even better. This is the climax of their character arcs because their dreams both come true at the same time, and they would have never achieved their dreams had it not been for each other. Neiman would never have become a drumming virtuoso had it not been for Fletcher's persistent, no-nonsense teaching style. And Fletcher would have never created a drumming legend had Neiman not had the determination to keep practicing and never quit. My favorite shot of the whole movie is when Fletcher takes a step back to watch Neiman drum and looks over him as if it was Dr. Frankenstein proudly looking over the monster that he had just created. Whiplash respected the audience's intelligence by showing that Fletcher and Neiman respect each other as equals at the end, rather than have them blatantly saying it out loud to each other. Whiplash had writing done so well that the climax of the film was also the climax of both central characters' arcs, which is a lesson that every writer should learn from, and respect.
Back off, fuck off, Johnny Utah. Turn my pages, bitch.